There are places where the signal dies for a reason. Catherine had been driving for 3 hours through forests so dense the sunlight barely touched the road, and with every mile the blacktop narrowed, crumbling at the edges.
I haven't seen another car in 40 minutes. The trees are closing in.
In the rear-view mirror, the road behind her was a dark tunnel of trees, already half swallowed by the fog, rolling down from the ridges. The GPS flickered, the map dissolving into a blank grid. No signal.
You've got to be kidding me.
The sky dimmed to a bruised gray, and a cold mist seeped between the pines, carrying the smell of wet earth and something faintly metallic. Then the school appeared through the trees, a sagging wooden building in a clearing that felt more like a scar than a playground, its paint peeling and windows dark.
This is the place? It looks wrong.
She killed the engine and sat a moment too long, the silence pressing in like a held breath. Every instinct told her to turn the car around and drive back the way she'd come. Catherine forced herself out of the car. The gravel crunched under her boots as she approached the schoolhouse, the building's silence swallowing every footstep.
Why did I even take this job? This building looks like it hasn't been used in 20 years.
The front door was ajar, and a stale, cold draft spilled out. Inside, the hallway stretched long and dark, one fluorescent bulb flickering unsteadily. She found the principal's office at the end of the hall, the frosted glass grimy, the nameplate too dusty to read.
Hello.
Come in. You must be Miss Vance. I have your class list. 14 students today.
He held out the list, but his grip tightened before she could take it. His eyes fixed on hers with an intensity that didn't match his smile.
A word of caution. The last name on that list, do not read it aloud. Not once.
Catherine's hand froze over the paper. The name was there, black ink curling like a whisper. She nodded, not understanding, but the warning burrowed into her as she turned toward the classroom. The classroom door groaned open onto a single room, with 14 desks in rows, each occupied by a child who turned to stare without blinking. She crossed to the teacher's desk, the floorboards creaking under a silence too complete for a schoolroom. She called names from the list. The responses came in flat whispers. Here, 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 here. Eyes never meeting hers.
The last name on the list burned at the edge of my vision. I skipped it without stopping, my voice catching.
On the wall, the analog clock showed noon, its second hand frozen. The room seemed to hold its breath.
That clock hasn't moved. Has it been noon all morning?
The chalkboard was smeared with lessons scrubbed away so many times only ghost letters remained. She tried to begin a lesson, but her eyes kept catching a boy in the third row who stared as if he'd forgotten how to blink.
Something is wrong. These kids aren't just shy, they're like dolls someone arranged here.
A cold draft circled her ankles, and she sensed she was watched from the back of the room. But when she looked, there was only dimness and towering shadows. The children's eyes kept sliding to the back of the room, a silent signal Catherine couldn't decode. She caught them staring at something behind her, then snapping forward when she looked up.
They keep looking at the back. There's nothing there. I checked.
The boy in the third row fixed his stare just above her shoulder, and a faint smile tugged at his lips.
Why is he smiling? There's nothing there.
Catherine spun, but the back wall was lost in shadow. Then the lights flickered, plunging the room into a split-second blackness. When the light steadied, she checked the clock. Still frozen at noon, though she was sure an hour had passed. Cassidy pulled her flannel shirt tighter and stared at her desk, her face drained of color.
Cassidy? Is everything okay?
A shrill buzzer rang. The students filed out in silence. Only Cassidy lingered at the door, her eyes darting back to the dark corner with terror. The door clicked shut. Catherine stood alone in the classroom, the silence filling the space like water. She walked toward the back, her footsteps muffled by the thick dust. There, pushed against the wall, was a single desk she hadn't noticed before. A small folded name tag sat on its surface, the paper yellowed and curling at the edges. She leaned closer, her breath shallow. The name was the one she'd skipped, the forbidden last name on the list.
That's impossible. He said there were 14 students. I counted 14 desks in the front. Why is this desk here, separate, like it was hidden?
Her hand reached down almost on its own. She picked up the tag, the paper cold and brittle against her fingers.
Don't read it. Don't even look at it.
But she couldn't put it down. The warning echoed, but so did the curiosity. She slipped the tag into her coat pocket. Later, when she checked her pocket, the tag was still there. She hadn't read it aloud, but she'd brought it with her. A shadow crossed the window. Cassidy slipped back inside, her footsteps almost silent on the old boards. She stopped when she saw Catherine standing near the back desk.
You saw her name, didn't you? Yes. The principal said not to say it aloud. What does it mean?
She's not here today. But she'll come if you say it. We don't look at her desk. We never say her name.
Who is she? What happens if I say it?
I don't know. She's been gone a long time. But the name, it calls her back. You mustn't read it. Not ever.
A cold dread settled over Catherine. She pulled the tag from her pocket and held it in plain sight, but Cassidy flinched away as if it burned.
She's terrified. This isn't a game.
The other children filtered in, their eyes sliding away from the back desk as they took their seats. No one spoke. Catherine slipped the tag into her satchel, out of sight. The warning had been given. Now she could not forget. The afternoon bent under a silence thicker than before. Catherine tried to call roll again, but her voice stuck in her throat.
I need to get out of here. This place is wrong.
In the edge of her vision, a flicker, a child-sized shape where no child sat. She snapped her head, but the space was empty.
Did I see that? There are only 14. I counted.
She counted again, pointing her finger from desk to desk. 14. The numbers matched. The class list was correct. Cassidy caught her eye and shook her head slowly, a silent plea not to look again. The minutes dragged, each one a wait. The clock hands stayed frozen at noon, though the light outside was dimming. When the final buzzer sounded, the students rose and filed out without a word. Catherine packed her satchel with trembling hands.
Just get to the car. Don't look back.
She did not look back. But as she closed the classroom door, the air grew colder and the tag in her satchel felt heavier. The hallway stretched dark, the flickering bulb now steady but dim. Catherine stepped forward, her satchel clutched tight. At the far end, Principal Mallory stood motionless, half in shadow, his glasses catching the weak light.
Why is he just standing there? He's not moving.
She approached, her footsteps loud. His fixed smile returned, but his eyes remained cold and unblinking.
Safe drive. Miss Vance, you did well today.
No questions about the day, just that.
He turned and walked away before she could reply, his footsteps silent on the old wooden floor. Catherine pushed out the front door into the dusk, the cold air slicing through her coat.
Something is very wrong with him. I need to leave now.
She reached her car and locked the doors. The school windows stared back, dark and still, but she knew he was watching. The engine turned over, and Catherine pulled away from the school, gravel spitting under the tires. She checked the rear-view mirror. A small silhouette stood in the schoolhouse doorway, too still, too small. Catherine blinked, and the doorway was empty. The silhouette had vanished, swallowed by the deepening dusk. The car sped down the rutted road, the school shrinking in the darkness behind her.
Just a trick of the light. The stress is getting to me.
The trees crowded the narrow road, their branches scraping the roof like skeletal fingers. The forest seemed to breathe.
I am not going back there. Never.
The highway stretched empty, her headlights cutting a narrow tunnel through the darkness. She caught a glimpse of the town lights ahead, and her grip on the wheel loosened slightly. But the tag was still in the satchel, and the warning echoed like a splinter in her mind. Do not read the name aloud. She pulled into a gas station on the outskirts of the small town, the fluorescent lights buzzing over empty pumps. She got out to stretch her legs. the night air sharp and cold against her skin. When she opened the driver's door again, her hand froze on the handle. The name tag lay on the passenger seat, face up. It hadn't been there when she left the car. She was sure of it. The satchel was still zipped.
I didn't put it there. It was in my bag. This isn't possible.
Her trembling hand reached out toward the tag, the paper seeming to pulse with a cold malice. She snatched it and shoved it into the glove box, slamming the door shut, as if it might bite. For a long moment, she sat there, her breath shallow, the glove box a black void in the dashboard.
I need to get rid of it. Burn it. Bury it.
She pulled back onto the highway, but the dread had taken root, and the tag was no longer a curiosity. It was a threat. The porch light was a pale, flickering beacon. As Catherine pulled into the driveway, the house dark and silent, she retrieved the tag from the glove box, the paper so cold it burned her fingers. Inside, she stood before a small desk drawer, her hand trembling above the handle.
Lock it away. If I don't look at it, maybe it can't follow me home.
She placed the tag face down on the drawer's bottom and slammed it shut, the bang echoing in the stillness. Catherine paced the living room, her shadow stretching long. Every creak of the floorboards made her jump. She finally lay in bed, but sleep came in thin, ragged waves, pulling her under just enough to drown. In the dream, Principal Mallory's smile followed her through the empty school. A child's voice hissed, "Say it." Catherine jolted upright, chest heaving. The bedroom was quiet, but the whisper still clung to her ears. She stared at the drawer until dawn, the warning now a scar. She had crossed a line that could not be uncrossed. Morning light bled through the blinds as Catherine sat at her cluttered desk, the laptop's glow painting her tired face.
I have to know more. That school. Why does it feel like it shouldn't exist?
She typed the school's name into the search bar. The results were skeletal, a single article, no district page, no staff listing.
It's like someone scrubbed it clean. 14 kids went there yesterday. Where are the records?
She dug into a digital newspaper archive. A grainy photo of the school surfaced, but the caption was cut off. Dated 6 years ago.
6 years? That can't be right. I was inside it yesterday.
Her eyes drifted to the drawer. The tag was a magnet, pulling at the edges of her mind. She could almost hear the name.
Maybe if I read it, I'd understand. Maybe it gives answers.
She pulled her hand back and reached for her phone instead. Her voice steadied as she searched for the district number. Her finger hovered over the call button. Once this went through, she would have to confront whatever lived behind that name. The phone screen dimmed. Catherine went to the drawer and pulled out the name tag, its presence a cold weight in her palm.
Just a look. I won't say it. I just need to see.
She brought the tag inches from her face. The ink seemed to writhe. Her lips parted.
Number. I remember what she said. It will come.
She dropped the tag onto the cluttered desk and dug through her closet until she found a rusted metal lockbox. With shaking hands, she folded the tag face down in the box and sealed the lid, her fingers leaving prints in the cold metal. The key turned with a screech, sealing it tighter than a grave. She hid the key on a high shelf in the dark cupboard, pushing it far back where she couldn't easily reach. The lockbox sat on the table, a silent sentinel. Catherine stood in the middle of the room, her shadow swallowing her.
It's locked, but I feel it still, like something waiting under ice.
The weeks blurred. Outside, frost crept over the windows, but inside Catherine only marked time by the lockbox. She checked the lock each night, the cold metal biting her fingers. The box never shifted, but the air around it hummed. Faint whispers leaked from the seam, just breath, and a shape that could have been her name.
Every night I hear it. It's calling to me. I can almost understand the words.
Her friends stopped calling. She never left the house after sunset, the lockbox her only company. She began leaving the lights on, sitting awake in the dim glow, staring at the metal box. Then the whispers grew louder, a child's voice from the dream, sliding under the locked lid.
I won't give in. This is just a sound, just a memory. I am not crazy.
She checked the lock again, her thumb tracing the keyhole. The key was hidden, but she knew where it was, sealed, but not silent. Every night, the name waited, and Catherine waited with it. One night, the whispers sharpened into a name, clear and cold as a winter breath. It curled out of the lockbox like smoke.
I heard it. It wants me to say it.
She moved to the lockbox, her hand hovering over the lid. The key was nearby, hidden but not forgotten.
I could open it, just to quiet it, but I know what comes.
She pulled her coat on instead, her jaw set. If the school was the wound, she would go back and stitch it shut. The lockbox went into her trunk, wrapped in a scarf like something burned. The whispers faded as she drove.
It's leading me back, like it wants me there.
The forest road unspooled in the headlights. Familiar and hungry, the school waited at the end. She gripped the wheel, the lockbox a dark passenger behind her. The name pulsed in the back of her skull. Through the windshield, the schoolhouse emerged, a black cutout against the starless sky. She didn't slow down. The car crunched to a stop in the overgrown gravel. No porch light, no open door. The schoolhouse was a corpse. Catherine stepped out, her breath misting. The windows were boarded with rough planks. A faded for sale sign staked into the dead grass.
This isn't possible. I was here. I taught a class. It was alive hours ago.
She walked the perimeter, her boots sinking into wet leaves. The building watched her through slits in the boards. She pressed her face to a broken pane, cold glass biting her skin. Inside, the darkness was thick as wool. The classroom emerged in the gloom, desks shrouded in dust, chairs stacked, the chalkboard blank. And her eyes found the back corner. There, pushed against the wall, the extra desk sat alone, its surface thick with neglect. The name tag was gone.
It's been empty for years. The principal, the kids, none of it was real.
She stumbled back to the car, her pulse a hammer. The lockbox in the trunk was silent, but the night hummed with the unsaid name. Catherine drove away, the abandoned school shrinking in the mirror. She would get answers, even if she had to tear them from the district itself. Back home, Catherine dialed the county school board with a shaking finger. The line rang 5 times before anyone answered. A tired woman's voice answered. Catherine asked about Lakeside School, her voice steadier than she felt.
I was there a few weeks ago, substituting. Can you confirm the school's status?
The pause that followed was too long. When the woman spoke again, her voice had gone flat. Ma'am, Lakeside School closed 6 years ago. We have no record of any substituting there this year.
That's impossible. I met the principal, Hector Mallory. He gave me the class list.
The woman's reply came like a blade. Hector Mallory retired in 2018. He passed away in 2020. The phone slipped in her grip. The room tilted. The voice on the other end asked if she needed help, but the words were static.
I spoke to a dead man. He warned me. He knew.
She hung up without another word. The lockbox sat in the other room, but its presence filled every corner of the house. She crossed to the laptop and searched the obituary archives. The local paper uploaded everything. The photo loaded line by line, the screen filled with a black and white portrait. The same thinning hair, the same round glasses, the same fixed smile she'd seen in the hallway.
It's him. Not a relative. Not a mistake. The man who handed me the list.
Her trembling fingers scrolled. Hector Mallory, dedicated educator, survived by no one. Died 2020. She had stood before him, spoken to him. She went to the lockbox, retrieved the key from its hiding place, and turned it in the lock. The lid opened with a cold puff of air. The name tag lay inside, face down. She didn't flip it. She didn't need to. The ink had seeped through the paper, a dark shadow of the name.
I can never say it. Not aloud. Not even in a whisper.
She pressed the lid shut, the lock engaging with a solid click. The key went back on the shelf, deeper this time. The lockbox sat on the table. No longer a curiosity but a sentence. She would keep it sealed as long as she lived. In the quiet house, the name waited, patient as a held breath. And Catherine, now its sole guardian, swore never to release it. 2 days later, she called the district again, her voice raw. This time she asked about the student, the name itself. She read the name silently from the tag, then spelled it letter by letter into the receiver. Her throat tight, the phone line hissed. The clerk's voice came back hollow. There's no record of any child with that name ever attending this district.
Are you sure? I saw the desk, the name tag.
Ma'am, I am sorry. That name doesn't exist in our files. It's like it was made up. The phone went silent. Catherine pulled the tag from the lockbox and stared at the dark ink. It didn't belong to any student. It was older. It was a summons.
This name was never a child. It's a command, a door.
She dropped it back into the box and locked it with shaking hands. The key stayed on the shelf, but the lock felt flimsy now. The name was not a person. It was a ritual, a trap left for anyone who found it. Catherine understood, finally, why the dead principal had warned her. She had not opened a student's desk. She had unsealed a grave. Months later, the seasons turned. The lockbox no longer sat in Catherine's home, but its weight never left her. She had moved it to a safety deposit box in town, a small metal vault where she could visit, but not touch.
I still check on it. Every month, the tag never moves, but I know it's waiting.
The box sat on a cold metal shelf, sealed in darkness. It never hummed there, but the silence was a held breath. Sometimes, when she visited the bank, she would stand outside and swear she heard a whisper riding the wind.
It's still calling. I could end this. Just say it.
But she never did. The key stayed in her pocket, a cold reminder of a door she would not open. Her life continued, quieter now. Friends came back, slowly, but she never told them why her eyes flicked to the distant tree line at dusk. The name tag remained in its box, a promise and a threat, sealed but never truly gone. Catherine understood that silence was not safety. It was the patience of something ancient, waiting for a single slip of the tongue. Catherine woke in the dead of night to a sound threading through her sleep, a child humming a melody that didn't belong to any world she knew.
I know that sound. It's not the wind.
She sat up, the key to the safety deposit box cold against her chest where she wore it on a chain. The humming was coming from the key itself, a faint vibration that made her fingers ache with cold.
It's still there, even miles away. The box knows I am here.
She pressed her thumb to the key, and the humming stopped. The metal was ice, burning her skin. She held it until her hand went numb, then dropped it on the nightstand with a clatter.
I won't go back. I won't open it, but it's still waiting.
The room fell silent, but the cold lingered. The key seemed to breathe, an artifact of something that would not die. Catherine lay back, the taste of the unsaid name on her tongue. She did not speak. The night held its breath, and the box waited. Her eyes closed, but 14 miles away, in the cold safety deposit vault, the lockbox sat on its shelf. The heavy vault door swung inward with a low groan, a sliver of light stretching across the metal floor. The light caught the corner of the box, glinting off the tarnished lock and the darkness within. The door began to close, the light receding into a thin blade, then a hairline, then nothing. As the dark swallowed the room, a sound uncurled from the keyhole, a child's hum, followed by silence. A voice, not quite a voice, slid through the metal like cold breath read it. The door sealed with a shudder, plunging the box into absolute, unbroken blackness. The whisper died, but the name waited, patient as quarried stone. The vault breathed once, then held its peace forever, and in the dark, behind the lock, something shifted with a smile.